Hello everybody, it's Mithrilda. Welcome back to my journey of learning to draw. Today, I will be starting Drawabox for the third time in my life. A little bit of background information, I actually started my channel making progress videos on Drawabox, got halfway through lesson 2, burnt out, and stopped drawing for months. I'll talk a little more about my journey later, but first, I feel like I should put a PSA out there right at the beginning of my video, just because I think it's so important. I know that many of the people who will be watching this are people who are just learning about or who are interested in starting Drawabox soon. Drawabox is a free art fundamentals resource created by Irshad Karim, aka Uncomfortable. He has an extensive portfolio, background in art and training, and he's offering all of this to us for free in a well-written and extensive course. More than that, he is offering us this wonderful community he's built and even his own time for personal critiques. However, there are so many people who claim that they want to learn from him and post their exercises for critique, but who clearly have not read or watched all of the material. And I get it. It's hard to go through all the text on the website. I've also made that mistake of not reading close enough and believing that the exercise he was describing was one I'd done in class, so I ended up doing it wrong. You can watch my previous critique video and learn all about that. However, there are some wonderful creators who have made audiobook versions of the curriculum where they read through the lessons and scroll along with it for people who have a hard time absorbing written information. In fact, I'm also making my own version, which I will be covering later. All of this is just to say, please read everything and watch everything if you really want to improve and harness the true power of this course. Okay, so to start off, be sure to budget a bit of extra time for the first session you start Drawabox, or don't expect to draw at all if you want to do things right. Reading lesson 0, watching the video, and reading all the material took me an hour and 17 minutes before I could even start the first exercise and put pen to paper. Be sure to budget enough time on your first session so you don't feel tempted to skip a video or some reading and get into it. So, why did I quit Drawabox the first time? Well, I think it was a combination of things. First of all, I didn't know how to find the fun in drawing. I knew I wanted to learn to draw, and I knew that Drawabox would help me, so I just did Drawabox. I sat down on many days and grinded these exercises. Sometimes I would draw other things, but only because I felt like I had to since he said so, and they weren't even the things I wanted to draw. Even though he repeated over and over that the goal wasn't to have a pretty picture in the end, I couldn't let that go. I drew things from reference because I was too scared to try drawing from imagination, especially on camera in these videos that I would be sharing with the world, because I knew they would be bad, and I was scared of having to show that off. And I was scared of having to make it and see my own bad drawings on the paper. My goal this entire time was to draw people and portraits and characters from imagination, and I lightly tiptoed around it back then. Maybe I'd copy a picture of a lady, maybe I'd copy a picture of myself, but never did I try to really draw something from imagination because I felt like I wasn't ready. I hadn't done enough Drawabox, I hadn't learned enough fundamentals, and I couldn't draw faces before I drew bodies, and I couldn't draw bodies before I learned gesture, and I of course could not start gesture until I got perspective down, and on and on. I felt a lot of perfectionism, like, what if I start drawing, but it's the wrong way, and I'll learn it wrong, and I'll have to unlearn it? Or what if this course isn't the optimal solution, and I waste my time following it when I could be doing this perfect course out there somewhere that gives me exactly what I need? So I did Drawabox for a while, and I got so bored and scared and exhausted. I'd put dozens of hours into these boring exercises drawing boxes and lines, and I didn't feel any closer to being able to draw the characters I wanted to because I didn't practice that at all. And finals and the holidays were coming up anyways, so I took a break. That went on for months and months because I felt like I had no motivation to return. And why should I? All these exercises didn't get me any closer to what I wanted, I wasn't having fun, and the thought of going back to those super draining, exhausting dissections gave me so much anxiety that I just ignored it. Then I eventually got back to drawing because I really did want to learn. But this time, I did what I felt like doing, which was drawing people and bodies. I did my 10 days of figure drawing and surprised myself with just how much I can improve with a few days of dedicated practice. Then I practiced hands and then more figure, and I felt like I was finally moving closer to my art goals. However, I still held myself back in important ways, like believing that since I watched some video about beginners focusing too much on the head and face and not enough on gesture and figure, I forbade myself from drawing heads even though it's what I really wanted to do. Because I wasn't ready yet. And even now, I'm kicking myself for not practicing it for an entire year because it's a pretty important piece of the puzzle. Anyway, long story short, I've explored a bunch of different resources, learned a bit, practiced a lot, and now I can have so much fun just doodling on a page and make something I'm happy with. And I don't even know how to describe how happy this makes me. So now that I've gone through my roundabout story, don't make my mistakes. Let yourself explore what you want to draw and let yourself do it badly and do Drawabox alongside it, or you'll be like me and have to start it over 3 times trying to figure things out. It's not like this path allowed me to do things perfectly. I still had to draw the same number of crappy pictures to get to the less crappy ones I'm drawing now, but I just didn't have Drawabox alongside me strengthening my fundamentals, and now I have to loop back to pick up these skills. Do I regret my path? No, since I've really learned how to have fun and come out the other side jazzed and ready for Uncomfortable's teachings now. I think the biggest thing I hear from other students is that they feel like their drawings will be bad and they don't think they're ready. And now I've realized that, yeah, they will be bad. They'll suck for a long time. But everyone did, or does now. Maybe they did their bad drawings earlier than you, or faster than you, but they all had them. You can see all of yours, but they might keep theirs hidden in their closets or in their brains, never to see the light of day. And that's why I want to be honest and post all of my thoughts and my art, especially the bad ones, because this is what I wish I could see from other people that I think are so unreachable. One day, I want to make beautiful art. And when people ask me if I was just blessed with talent, I'll point them to every ugly thing I made along the way to get there. So, why am I making an audiobook version of the lessons? Well, because I think the words that Uncomfortable has written are important, and they need to be read. And in the past, I couldn't understand why people didn't just read them. I'd get so annoyed when people made mistakes that were clearly outlined in the instructions. But now, I think I have a more nuanced perspective on it. For some people, it's not so easy to read text, and for others, it's just not the best way they learn. I also think it'll be a good way to better familiarize myself with the lessons by reading them and drawing out some representative visuals. So, why am I choosing to draw stuff for the video instead of using the lesson text, like other creators who have made their own audio versions? First, that's the reason. There are other people who have done it and done it well, and I wanted to put my own spin on things. Besides, if anyone wants to follow along with the text, they can use the website and read along, and that is completely encouraged. Although I've talked with Uncomfortable and he said it might not be a great idea to make the audiobooks now, since he plans to revamp the lessons soon. On the other hand, he seems to be rewriting the lessons all the time, so it's no guarantee that waiting will give them a much longer shelf life anyway. Mostly, I'm worried about people being able to read along to the audio, since it won't be archived within the video itself like the other audiobook versions out there. Anyway, I think some of the people who are looking to an audiobook version will be more audio-visual learners, and I wanted to add my own little touch to help fight the good fight and get this vital info into people's brains. Second, I wanted more drawing practice. Uncomfortable said to draw what I wanted badly? Well, I want to learn how to draw without guidelines confidently, and by golly, I'm going to draw as many bad pictures as it takes to hone my skills. And as things always seem to do, it turned out better than I was scared of it turning out. Also, I've made one Drawabox with me video that is just real-time practice of me doing superimposed lines to use as a drawing buddy. Please take a look and let me know if it's something I should make for other exercises and if you like the version with the music or without the music. Hello everyone, I just wanted to interrupt with a little interlude. I got my Drawabox pens that I ordered and I'm finished with college today and I'm very excited. So I just got back from my last test and my last presentation and I'm done. And I got my pens! So let's get into opening them up. Oh my god, this is so cute. So I have a package here of 10 fine liners, and look at that, they are all size 5. So here is where they tested the pens to make sure there were no defects. It's a cute little business card. And here's a sticker! Oh my god, this is awesome. Well, cool, I am so excited to try this out. I think I'm going to start doing all of my Drawabox with one single pen, and then I will let you know whenever it runs out. I guess for a video about my experiences with this part of Drawabox, I didn't really cover the exercises too much. If you want to see more about that, please feel free to look at my very first videos doing art that follow my journey up until I quit halfway through lesson 2. I guess some of my thoughts while doing these were that I definitely understand how to do them a lot better than I did the first time. For example, when you're ghosting the lines and planes, you have 2 dots on the paper, but you can't see the second dot when your hand starts at the first one. My first time through, I was extremely puzzled by this, so I went to the Reddit and Uncomfortable and asked them what was up. I asked the viewers of my video what was up, and they told me that that was the point, that even when you can't see the exact spot on the page, you are supposed to train your muscle memory up to the point where you can draw a line to any spot confidently and cement it in there with the ghosting. I think it's so important to just get started for reasons like this. If I tried to do all the research and do things perfectly, I would never have even run into that problem and thought to ask that question. Because I know that now, I can do it better this time around. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to draw on the backs of the pages since I hate seeing the bleed through, but in the spirit of how none of this is meant to be pretty anyway, I pushed through just to see how it would be. Then I realized that it actually wasn't as bad as I feared, so I kept doing that. And also, I've been running into the same issues I had the first time with gripping the pen too tightly to the point where my hand would hurt before I remembered to loosen up my grip. This seems to be consistently happening both with the superimposed lines and even the ghosted lines. Like while I'm hovering over the air, my wrist and my hand would start getting sore just from me holding the pen so tightly. I think for the sake of my wrist and hand health, now would be a good time to start really consciously checking in and stopping myself as often as I can think of it until this is resolved. I think that's it for now. The next videos should be more exercise and progress centric, but I felt like it was important to cover the things I learned from Drawabox, even after I stopped following the curriculum and the mistakes I made along the way that I'm trying to recover from now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Now, get back to work.